Hi, good morning, my friends. We're back in our reading of the Spirit's book, and we are at chapter 2, the Incarnation of Spirits, the purpose of incarnation. That's one of the topics, the soul and materialism. So, we start at the purpose of incarnation. Question 132. What is the purpose of the incarnation of spirits? The Spirit answers, God imposes incarnation for the purpose of leading spirits to perfection. For some, it is an expiation, for others, a mission. However, in order to reach this perfection, they must undergo all the vicissitudes of corporeal existence. Therein lies their expiation. Incarnation has a further objective, which is to place spirits in situations where they can do their share in the work of creation. On each world, they clothe themselves with an instrument that is in harmony with the essential matter of that world, so that they may use that instrument to carry out the orders of God. In this way, they contribute to the general work and progress at the same time. Then Kardec makes a note under it saying, the action of corporeal beings is necessary for the evolution of the universe. But out of divine wisdom, God has willed that in the same action they might have a means of progressing and drawing near to God. Thus, through an admirable law of divine providence, everything is connected and everything in nature is in solidarity. Question 133. Is incarnation necessary for spirits who have followed the path of the good from the beginning? Answer. All are created, simple and ignorant, gaining instruction through the struggles and tribulations of corporeal life. Since God is just, God would not make some blissful without their having deserved it through hardship and work. And then the question follows. But then what benefit is there for spirits to follow the path of the good if it does not exempt them from the hardships of corporeal life? And then there is an answer. They reach the goal more quickly. Moreover, the hardships of life are often consequences of a spirit's imperfections. The more purified it becomes, the fewer torments it will have to suffer. Spirits who are not envious, jealous, greedy, or ambitious will not have to endure the torments that result from such defects. Then there's another topic, say, the soul. 134. What is the soul? Answer. An incarnate spirit. Question that follows. What was the soul before its union with the body? Answer. A spirit. Question. Are souls and spirits therefore one and the same thing? Answer. Yes. Souls are no more than spirits. Before uniting with the body, the soul is one of the intelligent beings who populate the invisible world, and it later temporarily assumes a physical envelope in order to purify and enlighten itself. Question 135. Do human beings possess something else besides a soul and a body? Answer. The link that unites the soul and the body. Question. What is the nature of this link? Answer. It is semi-material, in other words, halfway between the nature of the spirit and that of the body. These two natures need it in order to communicate with each other. It is through this link that the spirit acts upon matter and vice versa. And then the author makes a note, Kardec makes a note. Human beings thus consist of three essential parts. First part, the body, or material being similar to that of the animals and animated by the same vital principle. 2. The soul, or incarnate spirit, which inhabits the body. 3. The perispirit, or intermediary principle, a semi-material substance that serves as the primary envelope of the spirit and unites the soul with the body. These three together are like a fruit, which consists of the seed, the flesh, and the rind. Question 136. Is the soul independent of the vital principle? Answer. The body itself is no more than an envelope, as we have repeatedly stated. Question that follows. Can the body exist without the soul? Answer. Yes. Nevertheless, when the body dies, the soul abandons it. Previous to birth, there is no decisive union between the soul and the body. After this union is established, however, only the death of the body can cut the bonds between the two, enabling the soul to leave. Organic life may animate a body that has no soul, but the soul cannot inhabit a body that has no organic life. Question that follows. What would our body be if it did not have a soul? Answer. A mass of flesh without intelligence. Anything you might want to call it except a human being. 137 question. Can the same spirit incarnate into two different bodies at the same time? Answer. No. The spirit is indivisible and cannot animate two different beings at the same time. Question 138. What about the opinion of those who regard the soul as being the principle of material life? Answer. It doesn't concern us since it is only a matter of words. Start by trying to understand each other. Question 139. But certain spirits and certain philosophers before them have defined the soul as being an anemic spark that has emanated from the great whole. Why that contradiction? There is no contradiction. Everything depends on the meaning of the words. Why don't you have the one word for each thing? And then Kardec makes a note. The word soul is used to express very different things. Some call the soul the principle of life, and in this sense it is correct to state figuratively that the soul is an anemic spark that has emanated from the great whole. These last two words refer to the universal source of the vital principle, of which each being absorbs a portion, and which returns to the whole after death. This in no way excludes the idea of a moral being who is distinct and independent of matter, and who preserves its own individuality. This being is also called the soul, and according to this meaning, one could say that the soul is an incarnate spirit. In giving different definitions to the soul, the spirits have spoken according to their usages of the word, and according to the terrestrial ideas with which they were imbued to various degrees. Because human language does not have one term for each idea and is therefore inefficient, a large number of misunderstandings and arguments have resulted. Hence the reason why the high order spirits tell us that we should first of all try to understand each other regarding the words we use. And then question 140. What about the theory that the soul is subdivided into as many parts as there are muscles, thus presiding over each of the body's function? Then the spirit answers, that will also depend on the meaning attributed to the word soul. This definition is correct if by it we mean the vital fluid, but it is incorrect if we mean the incarnate spirit. We have already stated that the spirit is indivisible. It transmits movements to the organs through the intermediary fluid without dividing itself up. Question that follows this answer. Nevertheless, there are spirits who have given this definition. Answer from the spirit. Ignorant spirits may take the effect for the cause. Then Kardec writes under it the following. The soul acts through the organs, which are animated by the vital fluid distributed among them, and it acts more abundantly in those organs that comprise the centers or focal points of movement. This explanation, however, cannot be applied to the soul as the spirit that inhabits the body during life and leaves it after death. Question 141. Is there anything correct in the opinion of those who think the soul is outside the body and surrounds it? Answer. The soul is not enclosed in the body like a caged bird. Rather, it radiates and manifests outside of it like a light shining from a glass globe, or a sound vibrating out from a sonorous center. So, in a certain sense, it may be said that it is outside the body. It is not an envelope of the body. However, the soul has two envelopes. The first is light and subtle, which we call the perispirit. The other is dense, material and heavy, which is the body. The soul is the center of these two envelopes, like a nut in its shell, as we have already said. Question 142. What about another theory holding that a child's soul continues to complete itself during each stage of life? Answer. The spirit is only one, as whole in the child as it is in the adult. As instruments of the soul's manifestation, only the bodily organs develop and complete themselves. This is one more theory that takes the effect for the cause. 143 question. Why don't all spirits define the soul in the same way? Answer. Not all spirits are equally enlightened regarding these matters. There are spirits who are still limited, who do not comprehend abstract ideas. They are like the children living among you. There are also pseudo-learned spirits who make a big show of words in order to assert themselves, another similarity to your society. Furthermore, even enlightened spirits may express themselves in different terms that have the same meaning, especially regarding matters that your language is incapable of clarifying, hence the need for allegories and comparisons that you unfortunately take literally. Question 144. Then what is to be understood by the world soul? Not the word soul, the world soul. The world soul is the universal principle of life and intelligence from which individualities are born. But frequently those who use this expression do not understand it. The word soul is so flexible that everyone interprets it according to their own imaginings. At times it has even been held that the earth itself has a soul, but by this we must understand it to mean the assembly of devoted spirits who direct your actions in the right direction when you listen to them, and who are in a way the lieutenants of God on your globe. Question 145. Why have so many ancient and modern philosophers discussed philosophical science for so long without arriving at the truth? That's a great question. Now answer. These individuals were the precursor of the eternal spiritist doctrine and have prepared the way for it. Being human and therefore subject to error, they have mistaken their own ideas for the light. These same errors, however, have served to bring the truth to light through the pros and cons of their doctrines. By the way, a comparative studies would enable you to understand that in the midst of error there is great truth. 146. Does the soul have a defined and circumscribed seat within the body? Answer. No. Although it resides more particularly in the head among great geniuses and all those who think much, and in the heart of those who feel much, who dedicate all their actions to humankind. Question that follows. What should we think about the opinion of those who place the soul in some vital center? Answer. One could say that the spirit more especially inhabits such a part of your organism, since all the sensations converge on that point. But to place it in a way, in what may be considered as the center of vitality would be to confuse it with the vital fluid or principle. Nevertheless, one could say that the seat of the soul may be more particularly found in the organs that serve for manifesting the intellectual and moral qualities. Materialism, 147 question. Why are anatomists, physiologists, and in general most of those who dwell in the natural sciences frequently led into materialism? Physiologists judge everything by what they see. Because of pride, humans imagine they know everything and cannot admit that something could possibly be beyond their understanding. Their own science thus makes them presumptuous. They think nature can hide nothing from them. Question 148. Isn't it odd that materialism is a consequence of studies that should, on the contrary, show humankind the superiority of the intelligence governing the world? Should we therefore conclude that such studies are dangerous? Answer. It is not true that materialism is a consequence of such studies. Rather, it is people who draw a false conclusion from them, for they can abuse even the very best of everything. Moreover, nothingness troubles them more than they would have you believe, and high-minded individuals are almost always more boastful than brave. Most of them are materialists because they have nothing available to fill the void of the abyss that has opened before them. However, throw them in a life preserver and they will eagerly grab onto it. Now there's a note saying this. It is an aberration of the intelligence that leads some to see nothing in organic beings but the action of matter as the basis of all our actions. They see nothing in the human body except an electrical apparatus, and they have not studied the mechanism of life except in the functioning of the organs. They have seen life extinguished many times by a ruptured artery, but they perceive nothing except that artery. They have tried to discern whether or not there might be something else, but they have found nothing but inert matter. Moreover, since they have not seen the soul escape from being able to capture it, they have concluded that everything rests in the properties of matter, and thus, after death, the mind is reduced to nothingness. This would be a sad conclusion if it were true, because then good and evil would have no meaning. People would be justified in thinking only of themselves and in placing the satisfaction of material pleasures above everything else. Social ties would be broken and the holiest affections will be destroyed forever. Fortunately, such ideas are far from being the rule. One could even say that they are very circumspect, composed of nothing more than individual opinions and nowhere erected as a doctrine. A society founded on such a basis would not contain its own seeds of dissolution, and its members would tear each other to pieces like wild animals. Humans instinctively hold to the conviction that things do not end for them once life is over. They abhor the idea of nothingness. In vain they rebel against the idea of a future life, and when the supreme movement arrives, there are only a few who do not ask what will become of them, because the idea of leaving life behind forever is too painful. Who indeed would indifferently face absolute and eternal separation from everything that has been loved? Who could watch without terror the immense abyss of nothingness opening before them, ready to swallow forever all their faculties and all their hopes, and at the same time say, "That's it. After me there's nothing more but nothingness. Everything is gone without an appeal." A few days from now, and any remembrance of me will be gone from the memory of those surviving me, and there will be no trace of my passage on the earth. Even the good I have done will be forgotten by the ingrates I've served, and there is nothing to compensate me for this, no prospect except for my body being devoured by worms. Is there not something horrifying and chilling in this picture? Religion teaches that it cannot be like this, and reason confirms it, but a vague and undefined future existence brings nothing to satisfy our love of the pragmatic. This is what has endangered doubt in so many. It is correct to believe we have a soul, but what is it? Does it have any kind of form or appearance? Is it a limited or undefined being? Some say it is a breath of God, others say it is a spark, while still others state that it is part of the great whole, the principle of life and intelligence. But what does all this offer us? What does having a soul matter to us if after death it will be merged with immensity like drops of water in the ocean? Is losing our individuality not the same as nothingness? Is it also said that the soul is immaterial? However, an immaterial object cannot have defined proportions, and so for us it is the same as nothingness. Religion also teaches that we shall be happy or unhappy according to the good or evil we have done. But what is the happiness that awaits us in the heart of God? Is it blissfulness, an eternal contemplation with no other concern than singing praises to the Creator? And are the flames of hell a reality or only a symbol? The Church itself generally understands them in the later sense. What then are the sufferings of hell? Where is the place of punishment? In short, what do we actually do, and what do we actually see in that other world that waits for each one of us? It is usually stated that no one has ever returned to give us an account of what exists over there. That, however, it is an error in Spiritism's mission, and Spiritism's mission is precisely to enlighten us regarding that future, to enable us to see and touch it to a certain extent, no longer through reason only, but through actual phenomena also. Thanks to spirit communications, the matter no longer involves pure conjecture, nor it is solely a probability that each one paints at will, or something that poets embellish with their fictions or dress up in allegorical images that seduce us. Instead, it is a reality that has shown its face to us, in that actual beings from beyond the grave have come to tell us about their situation there and what they do there. They have allowed us to watch, so to speak, the events of their new life, thereby showing us the inevitable fate reserved for us according to our own merits or wrongs. Is there anything anti-Christian in this? Quite the contrary. Since disbelievers have found faith as a result, and the lukewarm have enjoyed a renewal of zeal and confidence. Hence, Spiritism is Christianity's most powerful aid. If such is the case, it is because God has allowed it. God enables it to reanimate our wavering hopes and lead us onto the path of the good through hope for the future. Guys, I end up here for today. I hope you guys have liked as much as I did, and I give you a big kiss. See you next time. Bye bye.